Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another Copic marker drawing, but this one's a little less cutesy, but it's really cool looking and a bit dark, so I can't wait to show it off to you. I had the idea to draw a vampire king because why not? It'll look really awesome and it's something different which I've never drawn before, so I decided to go for it. I wanted to have him sitting on a throne in a sort of bored position, but still look badass. I initially did a thumbnail sketch, which then I scanned and printed it out larger, and then I sketched over the top of that. When I was done with the sketch, I used my light box to transfer and ink the piece to an A4 piece of expressive blending card. Now you probably can see that I've been experimenting a little with my setup. I'm trying out multiple camera angles. I use my Logitech C920 for the different angles and my normal DSLR for the top down. It worked out nicely, but I still need to learn the settings better because you can see a sort of flicker in the lighting, but don't worry, I'll fix that up in future videos. You don't need to stress about that. I'm colouring this piece with my favourite go-to medium, Copic Markers. I first lay down some colourless blender just to wet the page so that the markers afterwards would be smooth and blended out more. And then I layered some Col-Erase for the shadows. Because he's a vampire, I want him to look pale and cold, like he's sort of dead, because that's what vampires are. And I wanted to convey that well with the colours. Then I layered some milky white, that's E51, over that and added some mauve shadow, which is a light purplish colour, BV00, just to tone down the warm colours a bit. And I think it worked pretty well. Now I just want to take some time to explain the character and his backstory a little bit. He is a vampire and a king, obviously. He was a king before he turned into a vampire. But yeah, he feeds on the blood of his enemies. But he's not a bad king. He's not a hero or a villain. He's kind of like that in-between sort of person that just looks out for themselves. Whether he does good or bad things, he doesn't care at all. Although, he's a fairly decent king. He's fair to his people, and I think he feels a bit of obligation to his throne due to being king when he was alive. It's not really a secret that he is a vampire. He doesn't really hide it or anything, not that anyone can do anything about that anyways, because going against your king is treason, which is punishable by death. However, having a vampire as king can have its benefits. All of the neighbouring kingdoms are too terrified of him to challenge them for land. No one crosses their king. And also, crime rates are pretty low because no one wants to get in trouble, because the ultimate punishment for criminals, the worst kind of criminals, is death by a vampire. Yep, he feeds on criminals, but not strictly criminals. Anyone who crosses his path or does wrong by him has a chance of seeing his ugly side. Though he does have patience for his staff and innocent people, and also other people who live in the castle with him. He does have a family who lives with him in the castle, though their chance of inheriting the throne and becoming rulers is very low since he cannot die. His wife and children have long since grown and passed. He's currently residing with his great-great-great-great-grandchildren and their families. They are mostly okay with him staying king forever. Being a ruler takes a lot of time, and since he doesn't need to sleep, he does that pretty well. One guy did try to out him, I'm pretty sure it was his grandson, who was a bit bitter because he was told as a child he may become king, but then his grandpappy got turned into a vampire and he's been bitter about that ever since, because he feels his destiny was taken away from him. But trying to kill your king is treason, so he was punished accordingly. The rest of the family either doesn't care that he is immortal or are too afraid to challenge it, because the risks are just not worth it. Also, it appears to me that his clothes are very similar to another artwork I did called Footprints in the Snow, where a girl I drew has similar clothes. Now, I decided that they're from the same universe. Actually, not just that, she is a descendant of him, which explains why their attire is similar. She wanted to leave the castle to go on an adventure, and he allowed her to go. He has a little soft spot for this one, not that he'd tell anyone about that, because he sees a little of his past self in her from when he was younger and human. So yeah, he allowed her to leave, and he even ordered the staff to give her proper provisions for her quest. But anyways, there's a little backstory for both of those artworks. It's pretty cool how things turned out like that. Now, as you can see, I coloured in the cushiony parts of the throne with some red colours, and I also made the outside of that gold. I used purple for the jewels just to match his clothing. And my favourite part is the blood, which is coming out of his mouth and is all over his clothes. It's pretty certain that he has just been finished with a, let's just say, meal of his. Now I'm outlining it in a brownish colour, which later I'm going to blend into black. As you can see, I'm filling in the rest of the piece with black because I wanted this to have a dark feel to it, and I thought a black background would be pretty cool. Now I'm just using that brown colour just to blend the black into the brown. I really like this artwork. I think it turned out pretty well. And now, as you can see, I'm using a multiliner. It's actually a dark purpley kind of colour. It says wine on it. And I'm using that to add a little bit of detail and patterns to his cloak. Her one doesn't have these patterns, of course, the girl from Footprints in the Snow, because his one's a little bit more expensive because, come on, the king deserves the best. Now I'm just using a little bit of cool grey just to tone down the background. And now I'm using my Signo Uniball white gel pen just to add highlights, and I really like this because it makes it pop a lot more, especially on his pant legs. Really makes them stand out, and I like that. But anyways, this video is starting to wrap up, so I'll thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here, check out my other videos. I have a lot of other videos, seriously. Subscribe if you like. Remember, I'm doing a giveaway at 500 subscribers. Just saying that now for anyone who is new here to my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. I have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, so check those out just in case you want to tag me in some wholesome memes. I also have a Redbubble shop, so if you really like this artwork, I have it available as prints, even notebooks and all other kinds of stuff. I have a link for that in the description below. So that's enough from me. I'll thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you all, and I hope you all have a lovely day. See you in my next one. Bye.